Hi, it's Laura at Aquamarine 18 Tarot and Books. I am back with another VR to the tag, Do I Have That Card? This was started by Lashette over at Scarlet Moon Creations, and I had so much fun doing the original tag that I decided that I would come back and do the beginner version of this tag as well. Lashette kindly provided us with two versions of the tag, and so this is the other one, the beginner one. I'm going to add some house rules to make it a little bit more challenging. Before I get into my VR, I will just briefly read the rules for this iteration of the tag. And of course, this tag, Do I Have That Card? The idea is that we find a card in our tarot collection to satisfy a list of prompts, one card each. This one has 19 prompts, and it's designed as a beginner version to be able to be done with really just a Smith-Waite deck, if that's the only deck that you have. The challenge rules. You can't reuse cards, but you can reuse decks. Start your timer when ready. I will do so. I lost miserably last time. Pull one card for each prompt. Straightforward enough. This one comes with the rule of using 5 decks or fewer. So there's strategy involved. I haven't really done any strategizing for this other than I know which deck I'm going to start with. But beyond that, we'll see which 5 I end up with, and if I make it, with sticking in the rules. Rule E, do not watch the end to see the final results until after you play if you want to play. And F, do not shuffle your decks beforehand or put them in order. Leave them as they were the last time you used them. And I've done that. So picking a card for each prompt, you can reuse the decks. Indeed, you have to reuse a deck for this one because of the 5 deck or fewer rule. But no reusing a card for multiple prompts. Same as last time. Now, I'm going to add a few extra rules for myself. I have been challenged by Queen Auset to not use the Next World Tarot in this version of the tag, so I'm going to take up that challenge and I will not be picking the Next World Tarot, despite my temptation to do so. I am also putting Smith-Waite decks or very close redrawings thereof off limits. So I will not be going to Radiant Wise Spirit, I will not be going to Melanated Classic, I will not be going to Centennial. I think those are all of the Smith-Waite decks that I have. So the deck that this tag has been kind of made with that deck in mind, I'm not going to be using, and I am giving up the option of Next World Tarot for the sake of an extra challenge. So without further ado, I will get the timer. At least with the 5 deck rule, I feel like this one will be a little less messy to clean up afterwards. If I succeed with the 5 deck rule, if I get to a point that I've already used 5 decks and I can't fill a prompt, I'm just going to cheat and get a 6th rather than giving up because I want to finish. So, I have a 0 timer on my phone here. I'm going to start it and get started with the 19 prompts. Here we go. Do I have that card? Beginner version starting now. Prompt number 1, card with 2 children on it. I mentioned I had already picked my starter deck. I've decided that I'm going to start with the Gaian Tarot. It's a Smith-Waite system deck, but it's not a clone or a redrawing. So I'm looking for a deck with 2 children. I guess you can't see what I'm doing. I could hold the cards up so you could see what I'm doing and look at the cards and not the camera. While I look, 2 children. I know that there was 2 children on one of these cards. And I found it. The 2 of Earth has 2 children on it. It doesn't say only 2 children. So it has 2 children and an adult holding them. That's 2 children. Okay. See how bad I am at rushing. More commentary than rush. Number 2, a card with someone looking off into the distance. I'm sticking with the Gaian Tarot until I can't as a strategy of trying to stick to the 5 deck rule. Someone looking off into the distance. They're looking towards the camera. I think looking off into the distance means they have to be looking away. Maybe? I don't know. Maybe I'm being more strict on the rules than I need to be, but I think I can get something that will work. out of this deck, I think. This person is definitely looking off into the distance. The Explorer of Air. They're looking kind of towards the camera, but they're definitely looking off from a high vantage point. So I'm going to say they're looking off into the distance. You know, this person is also looking off into the distance. Five of Water. Holy shit, I should not pick two cards. I'm terrible. Okay, a card with pomegranates. I didn't really read the prompts that much ahead of time, so I should have been looking for pomegranates when I was going through this deck. But of course I wasn't, because that would imply I was organized. There's a pomegranate on this card, which is the Priestess. I'm just going to not quibble with the singular and plural of pomegranates here and say that one pomegranate qualifies. So, there we go. A card with a boat. This deck can do a card with a boat as well. I think there's a few. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Card with a boat. The Elder of Water is in a boat. That's a card with a boat. A card with a waterfall. Okay. A wave doesn't count as a waterfall, does it? It's water falling, but I'm going to say that... Oh! Two of Water has a waterfall. Yes! The deck that keeps on giving. Okay. I'm kicking ass this time. Number 6 is a card with a fish. I know that this deck has a fish, too. That's not a fish. That's an otter, maybe? That's a fish. There's a fish in here. I know there is. That's not a fish. That's a sea lion. Oh, fish. There's some fish. Guardian of Water. Done. Okay, next is a card with a tent. I don't know if this... Does this deck have a tent? I am looking for a tent. I really like this deck. Oh, there's more fish. A house is not a tent. A tent could be a house, but a house is not a tent. So far, not so good. That's not a tent. This person is in like a earthy shelter of sticks, but I'm going to say that that's not a tent. Fuck. I could go get an actual tent. There's one in a closet that's right over there, but I don't think that that's in the spirit of the challenge. Tent? There's no tent. If I've already missed a tent, I'm going to be unimpressed. I kind of don't think there is one in here. I'm going to look through the whole deck just in case. Okay. There's no tent. Fuck. Okay. We're at prompt number 7, card with a tent, and I need a new deck. People are probably shouting at me which deck has a tent in it. Next World probably has a tent. Fuck. Okay. A deck with a tent. A tent. What the fuck? Okay. I'm going to try. I'm not going to go Queer Tarot. That's too Smith weight. That would be cheating on my own rule. Fifth Spirit Tarot might have a tent. I've been using this deck a lot. I should know. I do not. But this is deck 2, so hopefully it has something useful in it. Okay. So far, no tent. I'm going to bet that this person is carrying a tent, but I don't think that counts either. I mean, if I had a sleeping bag, I'd be also carrying a tent. It only makes sense, right? Tent. That is a picnic, but not a tent. More of these people should be bringing tents with them. Where they're going. Why? Oh, there's fish. We already did that. Okay. I'm going to say that this doesn't have a tent. No tent. Okay. Can I get a tent out of an oracle deck? Considering how much I go camping, this shouldn't be that difficult. People are probably screaming at me about where I could find a tent. Next World Tarot. Damn it. What do I have in here? Oh, this is brutal. Tent. Oh, okay. I've got it. I think I've got it. I am sure that Raymond Buckland's deck has a tent in it. I am positive. I am so sure that there is a tent in this deck. I'm positive, positive, positive. Tent. Come on, tent. That's not a tent either. Okay. Oh. Tent. Eight of Cautions has a tent in the background and another tent being constructed in the foreground. 2 tents. That is like, that's got to be able to take a minute off my time if I found 2 tents, right? I've used 3 of my 5 decks. That part is concerning to me. Number 8, a card with a doorway. Okay, I'm going to go to 5th Spirit, which I've looked at but not used, because it doesn't have a fucking tent. I know that there's a doorway because there are houses in this deck, so doorway. That's a window. You can climb out a window, but a window is not a doorway. Or maybe it is in a kind of metaphorical sense. Where is the house card? It'll be last. I'm just going to go to the end. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. Doorway. 10 of Pentacles has a doorway. A card with a wreath. I will try... No, I'm not going to try this one. I'm going to go to Guy and Tarot again. Wreath. Is there a wreath? I don't even know. If I knew, I would be better at this tag. Of course I know which card in the Smith-Waite has a wreath, but I took that out of the running. Being foolish. I see no wreath. I think I found one. This plants around Gaia the World card are very wreath-like to me. So, there's my wreath. A card with an elemental symbol on it. Okay. I feel like there's some of that in... Yep. The Fifth Spirit Tarot, you could see the elemental symbol on it right there in the Justice card. Okay. Next is a card with a circle in the background. I'm going to go to Fifth Spirit again, circle in the background. Oh, goodness. Okay. There's a circle in the background in the upper corner of this death card. Circle in the background. Okay. Number 12, a card with someone quick to action. Really? That's very subjective. A card with someone quick to... Oh, yeah. This King of Swords is so quick to action. They've got a megaphone, and they are so ready. Quick to action. That is the King of Swords. I think that they're quick to action in this deck. They are anyway. 13. A card with 4 or more figures on it. I don't know. I'm going to go for Gaian Tarot. Again, because I know there's a card in here with more than 4 people in it. There we go. That is a card with more than 4 people in it. The Eight of Air. Number 14, a card that is a warning. That's also very subjective. A card that is a warning. Friends, this is challenging. Okay. These cards aren't very... You know, I'm going to say, here we go. The Devil, which is bindweed in this deck, could be a warning. For sure. I think about lots of things, right? That's a warning. Now, a card with a mythological creature. I don't think any of these cards have mythological creatures in them. Okay. I don't have a lot of mythological creatures. And I only have 2 decks left to pick. I don't want to waste one. Fuck. Mythological creature. There's a unicorn. That's a mythological creature. Where does it live? It is in... There is a unicorn in Animal Allies 2. Oracle decks count. And I know exactly where it is. Because I don't use it. Boom. Unicorn. Mythological figure. Done. But I've only got 1 deck left to pick. A card with a triangle on it. There's going to be lots of triangles in Fifth Spirit Tarot. A card with a triangle on it. See this triangle tattoo there? Probably shouldn't waste my time trying to focus, but there is a triangle tattoo on this person's arm and a moon right there. So that is a triangle. A card that has the symbol of Saturn. Okay. I'm picking my 5th deck just for this. You'll know I'm not very good with this kind of thing. I mean, I know what a glyph for Saturn looks like, but I'm going to use my Arcana of Astrology. That's not cheating at all. That's 5 decks. So, it'd be really bad if I pulled this out and then it didn't have the symbols in it. It does, though. There's the symbol for Saturn. Done. A card associated with Pluto. I know where I'm going for this. Pluto. Done. Now, one more prompt. A card with purple on it. Some of these have purple. The Lilith card has purple on it. I am done. 18 minutes and 6 seconds. Look at that. I'm declaring victory on the beginner version of Do I Have That Card? Thank you so much to Lashette again for starting this really fun tag. I've had lots of fun doing both. And I'm looking forward to seeing other folks participate. I've enjoyed a couple of other VRs as well. See if you can beat me at 18 minutes and 6 seconds. So I'm pretty happy with that time. I was on a roll at the beginning. Okay. I have that card. I did it. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all a fabulous day, and I will see you all again soon. Bye.